So I went to Lowe's and I picked up a water softener. Now, I went to Lowe's because I did get quotes, but Lowe's has the best price. So this is what we got. So it's the A.O. Smith water softener. It's the extra large, 40,000 grain capacity. And I think that's going to be the best for our square footage and how many people are actually living with us. Because right here, the household size 3 to 4, and you know this is a 4-bedroom house, and we take showers and baths all the time. So with that, I will open it up and start looking at installing it on the side. All right, so I guess that was it for setup. I got it out of the box, and this is what we're looking at. The top part's not exactly all the way on, but this is where you put the salt, and this is the LCD monitor screen to tell you the usage, water usage, and salt capacity. So anyway, that's the unboxing, and here's the inlet and outlet. So we gotta set this thing up and see how well it works. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see that very well. The water's just tingy brown, and we just have super hard water. And you can kind of see, like on this chrome finish.
It only lasts for 1 minute.
Okay, here we have the water softener, the central filter, and the point of connection, and then all the parts I need. So I have all my copper fittings and soldering set, and I have all my PVC fittings with glue and saw and everything I need. I made sure to have a clean rag and a wet rag to wipe down the copper, and then a clean rag to wipe down the PVC. So for the copper to the actual filter and water softener, I wanted to do all copper, but this central filter comes with threaded in and out, and it came with the nipple and the ball valve. So I didn't want to go copper PVC, copper PVC, so I decided to just go copper and then the rest PVC or CPVC. The one thing I did learn is that CPVC is for potable water going in and out, in and around your house. I'll show you the fittings. So this is CPVC. The outside diameter is different than regular PVC. So here is a 1-inch elbow CPVC, and then here is a 1-inch elbow PVC. And it's actually quite a big difference. So if you're doing shark bite fittings to CPVC, that works. Shark bite fittings are, let's say, a 1-inch copper to a 1-inch CPVC coupler. You can go from the copper to CPVC with that shark bite fitting, but you cannot go 1-inch copper to 1-inch PVC, because here's PVC, and this is the same outside diameter as the PVC itself, so it doesn't actually go on the PVC. So this is the PVC coupler. So keep that in mind. Whatever whatever pipe you wind up using, you can use PEX. So you can go copper to PEX. But like I said, PEX to PVC on this, there's not much of fittings for PEX to PVC outside diameter. So you can go PEX, CPVC, and copper. Those are all three the same outside diameter. So for this install, I'm just doing schedule 80 PVC. A lot of people would kind of say, oh, don't use regular PVC or schedule 80 for your potable drinking water. The one caveat to that is a lot of times from the meter to the house underground, they just do regular PVC or schedule 80. So it's already there in terms of regular glue and regular PVC from your meter to your house. So if people shun you for using let's say schedule 40 or schedule 80 PVC for your potable drinking lines, it's maybe you shouldn't do it, but at the same time, it's like drinking out of a garden hose versus drinking out of your kitchen faucet. Do you really trust one over the other? I don't know, but for me, I don't really care. So I'm doing schedule 80 because I like the extra strength, and it'll work just fine. So now that I have, well, I'm about to turn off the water, but in the meantime, I'm gonna do as many fittings as I can glued and setting to dry, so that all I have to do is the copper and then fit the pipe on there, and we're good to go, and we can turn the water back on after 30-40 minutes of drying time. So here we go. Okay, so I got the soldering done of the copper. So if you don't know how to solder, I highly recommend just watching a couple YouTube videos and practicing on a pipe that's not attached to your wall. I ran into one issue. This is the pipe coming out of my house, so if I have some grade differentials, like if this goes up into the attic, which I think it does, where it has a little bit of a grade differential, the water should all come out, but for example, mine was kind of dripping, and I had it off for like 2 hours. So if you have a little bit of standing water in the bottom of the pipe, it's gonna be very hard to sweat the pipe properly. So I'm not a professional at soldering or sweating copper pipe, so don't look at that and go, oh, well, he doesn't know what he's doing. I can get a tight, watertight fit, so that's most important. Now what we have here is we have copper to the PVC, so I'm going to go do the transition right now. Alright, so we have everything connected. We flushed the lines by putting it in service mode, and I'm reading the manual and going through each one of the steps, and I already programmed the computer by pressing the menu button and programming the hardness to 15. And what that tells me is that I got the 40,000 grain water softener. I would have been fine with the 35,000 grain, so I would have saved myself $100, but I just wanted to get this one anyway. So right now I'm on step 11, which is when it's in the service mode, this is turned this way, I'm supposed to fill up this brine cabinet with 5 gallons of water. So right now I have a 5-gallon bucket full of water, and I'm going to dump it in there. They said this is the one and only time you have to do it. After that, the computer kind of does it for you. So I'm going to fill this up, and then it says to fill the brine cabinet with salt. Now I got this Morton's Pure Natural water softening crystals, and on here it doesn't say crystals, it actually says pellets, cube style, or solar salt. I did not get solar salt, but I think that's what it recommends. So I'll look next time. So I filled up that with 5 gallons, and it's doing a regenerate. I held the regen button until this menu popped up, and it just started going. Brine slow rinse. Okay, so we have the salt in there. I filled it up to a little less than 3/4. That is, and here we have a faucet on. It says to turn it on for 20-30 minutes inside and bleed all the lines and basically get the salt filled up to the proper amount, the salt to water ratio. So right here it's the droplets going back and forth. That's water flow through the through this controller, so it knows that there's water on inside. And then I went ahead and I said the salt level, and I manually adjusted to 3/4 and press save. And then I guess I thought it had a sensor of where the salt was, but this is just kind of saying what the salt should be with the amount of water that you used, and then it'll give you an alert when it needs more water. So that's it installed. The one thing I still need to do is this is the regen tube that flushes out the line in the back, and I have a drain in here, so I'm going to dig this up and then put the tube into the drain, so then it'll run out to the street. And then the other thing is this has a little electrical power running the controls. I have an outlet on the inside right here, so I'm going to screw or drill a hole through and then pull wire and then put a box out here with the GFI, so we can have this on its own GFI. Well, actually it won't be its own GFI, but it'll be a GFI for it. So let's go test the water on the inside and see where the hardness is. Alright, here we have the total hardness strip. So it looks like it's being reduced down to almost 0. So that's where we were, and that's where we are now. So a lot softer. Let's go fill up a tub and see if it pulled out all the dark coloration out of the water. Alright, so here I am filling up the water in the tub after the water softener and water filter are installed. So I already did the water test for the hardness, and the hardness went down basically to 0. So it is now soft water. And I want to see if it pulled out the particulates that made our water kind of tingy brown. And that's about where I had it filled up prior when I filmed. So I think there's a noticeable difference that we don't have a brown tinge to our water now. So all in all, the water softener with the central filter by A.O. Smith works, and it's pretty much the cheapest option that you can go with. So there you go.